Hello everyone, my name is Aristidu Cahya. I am a student at Binasarana Informatika University majoring in accounting with student ID number 632508828. Today, I would like to share my opinion about a topic that is still often debated among students: smoking in campus areas. In my opinion, smoking should be strictly prohibited on campus because it brings more harm than good. It affects people's health, disturbs the learning environment, and pollutes the campus surrounding. Let me explain this reason in detail. First of all, smoking is very dangerous for human health. Cigarettes contain many harmful substances, such as nicotine, tar, and carbon monoxide. These substances can cause serious disease, including lung cancer, heart disease, and respiratory problems. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco kills more than 8 million people every year. Even worse, around 1.3 million of those deaths happen to non-smokers who are exposed to secondhand smoke. This means that even if you don't smoke, you can still be affected just by being near a smoker. On campus, where students gather to study, socialize, and relax, this situation can be very dangerous for everyone's health. And secondly, smoking creates an uncomfortable and unhealthy learning environment. Imagine sitting in a quiet place on campus, trying to study or have a discussion with your friends, and then someone starts smoking nearby. The smell can be very disturbing and makes it hard to focus. And some people even get headaches or feel dizzy when they inhale the cigarette smoke. A campus should be a place that supports learning, productivity, and comfort, not a place filled with smoke. Thirdly, smoking is also damages the cleanliness and beauty of the campus. Cigarette butts are one of the most common forms of litter in the world. Many smokers throw them away carelessly. Even when trash bins are available, the small pieces of trash might look harmless, but they contain toxic chemicals that can pollute the soil and water. According to environmental studies, cigarette filters can take up to 10 years to decompose. That means one cigarette butt can stay on the ground for a decade, making a campus look dirty and harming the environment in the long run. Moreover, allowing smoking on campus can send the wrong message to younger students. It may seem as if the campus supports smoking or doesn't care about health. In contrast, By creating a smoke-free campus policy, the university shows its commitment to promoting a healthy lifestyle and setting a good example for students. And in my opinion, there are also better alternatives for smokers. Universities can provide designated smoking areas far away from classroom and public spaces. So smokers can still have their place without disturbing others. In conclusion, smoking should be banned in campus areas because it harms people's health, makes the environment dirty, and disturb the comfort of others. A campus should be a clean, healthy, and supportive place for education, not a place filled with smoke and pollution. So that's all my opinion. Thank you very much for listening my opinion, and let's work together to create a cleaner, healthier, and smoke-free campus for everyone. Hello everyone. Today in this part of video, I'm going to talk about one of the most basic but very important grammar topics, simple present tense. What is the simple present tense? The simple present tense is used to express action that are habitual, routine, general truths, facts, schedule events in the future, instruction, or narration. And then, when we use the simple present tense, first is general, statement, and fact. We use the simple present tense to talk about things that are always true. For example, the earth orbits around the sun, and we go to school ev- we go to school on weekdays. Number two is habitual action. For example, he reads the newspaper every day, and they play football every weekend. Number three is schedule event. We use it for fixed schedule or timetables, especially for transportation or programs. For the example, the meeting starts at 10 o'clock. Number four is permanent situation. When something doesn't change for a long time, we use the simple present tense. For example, he lives in Jakarta. Number five is opinion and commentaries. For the example, I believe in equality for all, and she hits the ball and it goes over the net. Number six is instruction and direction. When giving instruction or direction, we use the best form of the verb. For the example, first, mix the ingredients together and turn left at the traffic light. Now, we're gonna talk the simple present is used with adverb like number one, adverbs of frequency, used to show how often something happens. Some common adverbs are always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. For example, she always wakes up early, and they are usually happy. And if you use a main verb, adverb goes before the verb. And if you use to be, adverb goes after the verb. Number 2 is adverb of times, used to show when something happens. Some common adverbs are every day, every morning, on Mondays, at night, and once a week. For example, I study every day, and we visit our grandparents once a week. Number 3 is adverb of place. Sometimes we use adverbs of place to tell where something happens. Some common adverbs are here and there. For example, she works here and they live there. Now, we talk about nominal sentence. Number 1 is positive structure. The formula is subject plus to be or am is are and complement. The structure is used to describe facts, state, or characteristic of a person, thing, or situation. We use verb to be to connect the subject with its complement such as noun, adjective, or propositional phrase. For example, I am an international school student and she's a doctor. Number 2 is negative structure. The formula is subject plus to be plus not and complement. This formula is used to show something is not true. For example, she is not an international school student and she's not a doctor. Number 3 is interrogative structure. The formula is to be plus subject plus complement and question mark. This formula is used to ask about identify or description. For example, is she an international school student? And is she a doctor? Number 4 is interrogative with WH question. The formula is WH question plus to be plus subject plus complement, and don't forget to use question mark. This formula is to ask about identify, description, or specific information. For example, who's that boy? And why are you late? And now we're gonna talk about verbal sentence. Number 1 is positive structure. The formula is subject plus verb 1 and plus s or es for third person singular and object. This formula is used to state facts or description. For example, she plays tennis every Saturday. They study English in the evening. Number 2 is negative structure. The formula is subject plus do or does plus not and verb 1 and plus object. This formula is used to show something is not true. For example, she doesn't play tennis every Saturday, or they do not study English in the evening. And number 3 is interrogative structure. The formula is do or does plus subject plus verb 1 and plus object, and don't forget to use question mark. This structure is used to ask about identify or description. For example, does she play tennis every Saturday? And do they study English in the evening? Number 4 is interrogative with WH question. The formula is WH question plus do or does plus subject plus verb 1 plus object and question mark. This formula is used to ask about identify, description, or specific information. For the example, when does he go to school? And why do you love badminton so much? Short answer with do or does. So, in direct question that use do or does, it's possible to give short answer. For example, the sample question is, do you like chocolate? And the answer in positive, we say, yes, I do. And in negative, we say, no, I don't. And now we're gonna talk about grammar rules. Number 1 is to form the simple present tense, we add s to infinitive of the verb in the third person singular or he, she, it. For example, I live becomes he, she, it lives, and they play becomes he, she, it plays. Number 2 is when the verb ends with o, ss, sh, ch, and x, we add es. For example, I go becomes he, she, it goes, and I kiss becomes he, she, it kisses, and we watch becomes he, she, it watches. B. When a verb ends with a consonant plus y, the y change into is for the third person singular. For example, I study becomes it, he, she studies. I try becomes it, he, she tries. And I carry becomes it, he, she carries. C. If a verb ends with a vowel, A, E, I, O, U plus Y, we just add S for the third person singular. For example, I play becomes it, he, she plays. And we enjoy becomes it, he, she enjoys. And they say becomes it, he, she say. Number 3 is to form the negative and interrogative, we need the auxiliary verb to do in the present simple. This means we have to add es in the third person singular, while the main verb will be used in the infinitive. For the example, in positive, he plays football every day. And in negative, he does not play football every day. And interrogative, does he play football every day? So if you notice that the negative and interrogative forms, the main verb play is doesn't have s like this because the s already appears in does. So That's all my presentation about the simple present tense. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.